last week on Gleeboot, we talked about the ending, not the ending, but the destruction of all wholesomeness in the Klain ship. This poor girl, Julie, being forced into a musical number in what seems like against her will, already wearing a giant STD costume, Sam Sadie's deciding not to sexually consummate their relationship, and yeah, that was tested. And that's what you missed on Gleeboot. I'm like, what do I say next?
Oh man, I threw the whole thing off. Yeah, so I had told Cullen, I was like, hey, maybe I'll just like record some like rage thoughts about Tested while I'm in LaGuardia Airport, because I got stranded there. In case listeners and then our guest, I was stranded there last week for like 19 hours, I think. It was super fun. The whole experience drained me so much that I couldn't even do that, but I did watch that episode. I did the bare minimum for that episode.
It sounds like a lot. I really do forget, like when I come in just sort of intermittently, how much it does go off the rails when you get to the end of this TV show.
That episode was just, the one thing I will say is in that weird, like opening 1940s-esque PSA thing, the voiceover person called them soldiers, and I cringed because they should be called sailors because they're sailors. That's all I have to say. Because everything else was said. I ended the episode. I was like, I agree 100%. That's the only thing I have to say.
All right.
I actually remember thinking, are they in the Navy?
Like, clearly they're in the Navy. Look at them. They're sailors.
Gleeboot.
Yeah. So, welcome back to Gleeboot, the show where we get drunk and talk about rebooting Glee one episode at a time. I'm Cullen.
Alyssa.
And I'm Hannah.
And we have veteran podcast guest, Gleeboot staple, Emily Kassab.
Yes, you hate to love it.
Yes, I picked her for this episode opening night because I wanted someone who, you know, has understand both Glee and Gleeboot and our journey with this show, and kind of discuss my thesis of this maybe with some changes could have been the series finale.
I would have actually honestly preferred.
Yeah, like it could,
with changes.
Yeah, with some changes, but like it could very well, like, yeah, if we go back to the pilot and what those characters wanted, you know, So what are we drinking today? I'm drinking a truly strawberry hibiscus margarita. Ooh. Also, listeners, I have other groceries in my fridge now. So.
Yeah, I was actually also a little worried. I was like, oh God, he's gonna be one of those person with just like condiments and booze.
The stereotypical one Chinese food.
Yeah. I'm drinking water because I obviously was super prepared. But also I'm really thirsty. I feel like I'm dehydrated, but I haven't done anything today. Refreshing.
Alyssa, are you also drinking water?
I am not drinking water. I am drinking truly Kiwi mojito style from the Poolside collection.
Okay, next time I have a White Claw, I'm going to start saying like, this is from the Surf collection.
Yeah. From the Mango Mix collection.
Yeah. And I have, so I don't have to get up and go get it, a strawberry melon fizz for after this mojito is done.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes.
I myself am drinking Josh Cabernet because I work at a banquet venue, and when they don't finish bottles of wine and we don't have events for the next few days, I get to take it home.
I want to work there.
I'm very much, it's very, the path to a lush is just getting like 3/4 of a bottle.
That's terrific.
So I recently just moved into a new apartment, and I have 2 TVs now. One in the bedroom, one in the living room, and I set up Roku. Which I've always just barely been able to use Alyssa's Roku when we lived together.
Did you ever? I feel like maybe twice.
Actually, yeah, like twice. Like I think I only maybe like once watched or once or twice watched the TV like without Alyssa with me. And so like I like set it up and I watched this episode on my Roku in my bedroom.
Wow.
Yeah.
The height of luxury.
The height of luxury. We just dropped the list. Also we have some big news in the Gleeverse. Glee is coming to Hulu and Disney Plus in June.
Yes. We are so excited that we don't have to buy season 6. I was
like to get rid of Voodoo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean we had to buy 5, which is probably the worst season.
That's I think they timed it on purpose. They're like, hey, this one podcast, they're about to hit season 5. Let's get this shit off of Netflix, make them buy it because no one's buying season 5. In fact, we're losing money on it to make them buy it.
Yeah,
and then we'll put it somewhere else.
Yes,
they really drug their feet.
How much did they make on that from us?
I think so.
16?
I got it on sale. I think it was originally 15. I think I went for like $12.99. I think we got like 30% off or something.
Oh dang!
For being our first purchase, our first and only purchase on that platform.
$12.99. I think we definitely saved season 5 there.
Like I said in our group chat, I will be sending a claim to Disney and asking for our money back.
Disney CEO Bob Chapek, Ryan Murphy, and Leah Michelle.
Yes.
And like, if each one of them gives us $4,
that's literally all they have to do.
Yeah. And then I think it's coming in June as a gift of the goddess Juno. June is her month. She's not doing much these days, but she looked down and she was like, these poor Glee podcasters. Let me throw them a bone.
Yeah, I saw the movie Juno a couple of times, and I do wonder where she is these days.
The goddess or Home Slice?
Home Slice.
Obviously,
I was saying, the movie Juno.
Yeah. But Juno is a goddess.
Yeah.
So okay, we know we've gone through Emily's Glee journey and her quiz results before.
Yes.
But we have a new surprise section of our podcast.
Stop it.
Marry, Smash, Murder.
Almost spit her wine out.
I love a murder. Okay.
So the theme of this week is like kind of silent side characters.
Okay.
So we have Brad the piano player from Glee.
Oh,
okay, gross.
we have Dorota from Gossip Girl.
Love. Okay.
That was I think Blair's maid that she was always like, Dorota.
Yeah.
And then we have Smithers from Riverdale, who was Veronica's chauffeur, who later at one point adopts her, but then later runs away. It's all very complicated.
Okay. Was he hot? I'm gonna have to Google.
None of these people are hot.
Dorota's not hot.
Yeah, Dorota's probably the hottest, I would say, of the 3.
And there's Riverdale.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
this is a tough week.
So here's the thing.
He looks nice.
I was gonna say, didn't we have one with Brad in it? And then I remembered we did it impromptu in an episode.
Yes, it was in the episode
because they were doing it was him, Figgins, and Shu, right?
Yeah, that's what April and
Holly were doing.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, wait, we've already done Brad before. Interesting. I don't know anything about these other two people. Frankly, I don't even know a lot about Brad, but I mean, who does? I'm gonna say that I'm gonna marry Brad. I will help him with his gambling debt.
Okay.
I guess I will smash Dorota because that's a cool name. I guess I'm killing the old man Smithers.
Smithers.
You know, I'm gonna marry Smithers. He's a nice guy. Not always a great judge of character because he said Hermione was a good person. I don't know if she is. But I'm going to smash Dorota because, you know, she's fun, she's sassy, and you could still be friends afterwards. So afterwards, I'd just be like, yo, I'm gay. And she'd be like, okay, well, that was weird, but like, we'd still be friends. And then
she'd be like, oh, not the first time, I guess, for me.
Yeah. And then I would murder Brad because some sketchy people are after him. And I don't want to be dragged into that.
Valid.
So I have the same answer as Cullen, but for different reasons.
Aha, one of these.
Like very different reasons. I'm going to marry Smithers because I feel like he doesn't have much longer. So I would be able, I'd be able to collect, whatever he's leaving behind.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to
his snazzy uniform.
Maybe I don't know what he has, but it might be better than gambling debt. I'm going to smash Dorota because she's the most attractive, and I will kill. Wow, I forgot his name. Brad the piano player, because his debts are so intense. I'm thinking that he probably has like a bounty by this time.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I'm gonna collect it.
A dead or alive bounty on an Ohio piano player for a high school.
Yep.
We love that.
Definitely
I'm trying to get more context. I really like whatever this like wiki page is because it's like personality. I'm trying to look up Smithers, and it's like he seems to be particularly fond of Hermione, considering that the two of them hugged following her return to Riverdale. Like is it like they hugged and they're like that? Those are some tight
bonds.
That is a bond. See, I would probably marry Dorota because I want to know the tea. I want to be in on the west side. Mm-hmm. I got to get into that lifestyle. Unfortunately, that leaves me with a couple bad options. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'll bang one out for Smithers for a good story. And we're killing Brad. We're killing Brad. Like he's a bad man.
All right.
I don't like these choices.
I know. I made a bunch to like finish out the season and was like figuring out what guest I should assign which one to. And I was like, let's give Emily the really weird one.
I do like Dorota. Yeah, I was like, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Opening night. It's a pretty actually kind of concise episode. It kind of flew by. There's only really like 2.5 storylines.
Yeah.
It's like Rachel's opening night on Broadway, Sue finding love, and the birth of Will's son.
Yeah, which is
like
not
even a full storyline.
Like a point.
It's got 2 scenes.
Yeah.
Glee will take what they can get.
Cullen texted me today, and he's like, "I'm so excited," and I was like, "There was too much Sue."
But really, though, there was like, I was like, I I wasn't like missing Sue. I think they're trying to like figure out like how to get the magic of the beginning of Glee back in this late stage. They're like, well, people love Sue. And I'm like, they loved Sue. At this point, I'm like, she's like homophobic, transphobic bully who's running a school which has a caning policy. In canon, right. There is a caning policy at McKinley High School. I always joke that Glee characters are war criminals, but she probably is. Yeah.
And like the panel that like approved her was like, the caning policies are really working. We love this. So it's not like it's abhorred. It's loved.
Yeah, it's not the controversial caning policy. It's the general consensus policy.
Yeah.
I wonder if Sue was like a prophetic vision of like post 2016 America.
I don't know.
Why would you say that?
Brian Murphy was like, you've been warned.
You've been warned. Yeah. So, I mean, let's just quickly talk about Will. He is going to New York for Rachel Berry's big premiere. Which is actually one of the few times Will has done something that's kind of like a normal student-teacher post-graduation relationship.
Yeah.
Like if you were like a music teacher and your student's going on Broadway, like you're not asking them to buy you a ticket. You're just going to buy a ticket and go to the show.
Yeah.
Although you might not do that if you have a baby coming, but.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Also a good point.
Yeah, because Emma's too pregnant to fly. And yeah. So
he's like, but it's opening night. Like he couldn't go see it like any other time.
Yeah. So then he's like, oh, I have a spare ticket. And Sue is like, I want to go with you. The reason why is because on Sue's corner, which she still has apparently, she went on this rant about how New York is more rats than people, how it smells, how it has Broadway, which forces the bi-curious pageant of the Tonys upon us once a year.
It probably does have more rats than people.
Like it does, yeah.
Yeah.
But like I feel like
that's controversial.
I feel like most cities probably do.
Yeah, because rats aren't just like necessarily always walking amongst the general public. They're just underground.
No, they're like in the sewers. They're in the walls. They're places you can't see them. Also, they're tiny, so you can have more of them in the same amount of space.
Well, tiny in comparison to humans, because I once saw a big ass rat on the underground in Boston.
Yes,
I think it was whatever stop is like closest to the university, but is underground.
Just Kenmore Square.
Yes,
where I lived. Yeah,
and it was like
that was me.
Huge.
Like
okay. I thought I recognized the ginger tufts.
I mean, they're like pretty much the size of like small dogs, like chihuahuas and stuff.
The thing was huge. It was like a chihuahua running across the tracks.
Like Ratigan in The Great Mouse Detective.
Never saw
it. That's actually an interesting film.
Yeah.
Kind of straightforward detective film, except with mice.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the title really fits.
The Great Mouse Detective. Yes,
very much what it is. He's a mouse detective. He's good at his job.
Yes.
Boy, am I glad that we don't have like an animation podcast. I would be constantly lost. Like, never saw that movie. I don't have any reference for it. Sorry.
But you know what we could do a podcast on? The Prince of Egypt.
Oh, hell yeah. I could do an entire podcast, like not just an episode, entire podcast just breaking down all this stuff about now I'm gonna watch that movie. I'm watching it tonight after this, literally.
You could do the differences between the movie and the West End musical.
Okay. Maybe. How would I watch that?
You can listen to the soundtrack.
Oh, that's true.
There's different songs, and they changed the Plague song, which is weird because that's like the big banger.
I love the Plague song.
There are so many bangers in that movie. It had no right.
Yes.
Anyway, tune in next week for our animation podcast episode about the Prince of Egypt series 1 episode of 15,000.
Okay, so he's gonna go to New York and Sue's gonna go. She wants to go with him, and he's like, okay, but you have to see Rachel's show. And Sue is just like, oh, whatever.
Why else would you go to New York if you're not going to, like, if she hates it that much, why would you go?
Also, who's watching Robin? How old is Robin at this point?
Her daughter is a mystery to me because it's like she's not a mom. She's not.
No.
No,
not at all.
No.
wait, Robin would be like maybe a year and a half?
Yeah,
2
or 2.
The timeline is so wonky at this
Well, that's right,
point
because we
anyway.
did skip ahead at least 6 months.
So
Who knows what month is this supposed to be? Do we know? Do we have is there any
I
mention
feel
of
like
the
it's
date?
winter or spring.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
there's
there
like
was-
it being cold, like in the morning, like, oh my gosh, I'm so cold.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah. The timeline hurts. It used to be like this show, you had such a simple, airtight timeline. They're like, what if we just didn't? And now
Yeah,
it's like,
I was. They could mark it by a lot of like the holiday themed episodes, so you kind of had a good idea of passing time.
but yeah,
Well,
now we have
did
the
Christmas, right?
the non-canon Christmas
It- it-
episode.
Yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
talk about it.
All right, so
Maybe it's March.
yeah, I'd honestly say it's probably March if I had to pick a month.
There would still be snow in New York, but let's not nitpick.
Yeah, no, we can't.
So they're gonna go to New York and they sing NYC from the musical Annie.
Oh, I was trying to figure out what that song was from. I was like, I know I've seen this in something, but I could not remember.
You guys want to hear a funny thing? I've never seen Annie. No, I was like, don't know this song.
You know what? As someone who's been in the musical Annie,
Oh,
it's
hot
not a
brag.
must see. Not a must see. I played
Wait,
a
I think
hobo.
And
I played a hobo and a servant.
I was in Annie too.
Yes.
I
And
also
did you-
played a hobo.
Wow. Oh my
But,
gosh.
like, the thing about Annie is, like, I think the movies are a little different, but we have this memory. We think Tomorrow, Hard Knock Life. It's a story of this
Yes.
orphan getting adopted. But, like, the play and the musical has all this, like, weird old political baggage
Yep.
that, like, isn't funny anymore. Like, there's a whole song about Herbert Hoover.
Yep.
The finale song is "We're Getting a New Deal for Christmas" because, like, President
Right.
Roosevelt comes in and starts the New Deal, and like Annie's the reason I think it happens. I can't remember. And I was in this number NYC. I just remember this part where we had to be like, not Chicago, Cincinnati. I think I messed up the choreography. I don't think I ever got it right. And I think the girl who played the actress who sang like $2, 1 bag, 1 me or something was like secretly getting bullied by some of the adults. Cause I heard some of the other adults being like, that's not okay. Like they're making fun of her backstage. Like she's a kid, like, you know, like that. And I was like a
Wait, was
teenager.
this
She was another
community
teenager.
theater?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah. I
Mine
ran
was a
into
high
that
school
girl.
musical, so
I ran into that girl later in college and she seemed fine. So she obviously was not
Oh, good,
traumatized by
good,
anything.
good.
Yeah.
unaffected.
Yeah.
maybe she didn't know.
I don't,
And
actually
she's
don't think she
just
did.
finding out because she's listening to this podcast.
You know
Sorry.
Ramona, if you're out there, you were a cool person.
Yeah, Ramona, we support you.
Hashtag.
I'm sorry. So we're doing NYC, or they're doing NYC. It's like there's cardboard cutouts. It is filler.
Yeah.
And it's like the fourth time they've traveled to New York in a musical number. We had Roots Before Branches. We had This Girl Is on Fire. We had Moving Out. And now we have NYC.
Yeah, too many. Like, do we have to see a musical number every time people go to New York?
We're singing the Jay-Z Alicia Keys song.
They weren't in New York though. They were just in the outdoor eating area.
Oh wait, that was the one.
School.
Oh right, that was the one that was at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah, this show is a boner for New York.
Tired of seeing people go to New York for the first time and like it being a thing.
I dare any listeners out there that the next time you're going to New York, you sing one or all of those songs simultaneously as you walk off the subway.
Channel the woman who sang Shallow on the subway.
Yes. Maybe you'll get on Ellen. Oh, wait. The show, I don't think it's going to exist anymore. Never mind.
Yep, bum bum.
What about the Jimmy Kimmel show? Oh wait, isn't he not hosting anymore too soon?
What about the James Corden show?
Oh. He's horrible. You don't want to go there. He's also
not hosting shows.
Oh yeah. I'm sure there'll be some sort of late night and or daily time talk show.
So they're in NYC and Sue is like, oh, this place smells like barf. And then it's not seen till later, but they go to the hotel room and they didn't change the beds. And I did love this line. Sue points to the bed and she's like, this is adultery. That's what this is.
So funny. I think it was the way she pointed to the bed where she's just like, this is adultery. I wish that you could see me actually react, like recreating this, but you can't. So hopefully you watched the episode.
Yeah. Jane Lynch, it's like one of those things where you're like, Jane Lynch is a great actress. So like she can be really funny. It's just at this point in the show, they're giving her so much garbage. So she shows up to Rachel's apartment. But we're going to jump. Oh my gosh, we're supposed to be talking about Will. You know what? We're kind of going to do all the storylines at once because they're actually kind of connected. Let's go to Rachel at the beginning. Rachel is, she has this dream sequence where it's time for her performance. And like Sue and Becky are booing her, and Karofsky's there, and Jacob Ben Israel is back. He's like, why won't you love me? And
I literally said, oh my God, Jacob Ben Israel.
I think like a couple weeks ago, I was like, oh, what's that man up to? I didn't actually want to know, but I guess he doesn't technically exist in this. So I guess I didn't know.
And then she's like, Santana in a cheerleading outfit is doing her makeup. And then Tina comes by stuttering. We're in this part of the multiverse where Tina has a stutter.
Oh, yeah. Did see Doctor Strange. Honestly, was still hoping that Tina Cohen Chang would show up. I was like, oh, this would be great. How would she change the story? I literally was thinking about it the entire time.
Yeah, because in Doctor Strange, they say dreams are just you in a different part of the multiverse. So somewhere in the multiverse, Tina still has a stutter.
Does that mean that somewhere in the multiverse, I'm a 19th century Frenchman who's also a vampire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Can I please go there?
Well, you're going to have to assassinate your own character to get there. You have to go full evil with an evil book that's basically the Necronomicon. Anyway.
Hannah's telling me you're going to have to go full evil. In my brain, I'm like, ooh, that might be fun.
In another multiverse, another universe, you are full evil. So just take peace in knowing that.
Alyssa's like, that is doable.
Yes. Yep. Definitely doable.
Checklist to become fully evil. So Rachel, so Rachel's suddenly naked, and then suddenly she's back in her like reindeer sweater.
Yeah, her very season 1 outfit.
And she's singing Love Fool. Which, why not? I do like that song.
I do like that song.
And she's like, there's all these weird voice effects, and then like Sam is there. Is Kurt there?
Yes, he's the one who cues her to go on stage.
Cues her. Yeah. Kurt's there. Blaine's there dressed as a warbler. Tina's goth,
Have you mentioned Becky yet?
Becky, yeah, she was saying like boo, right? Or get on with it.
She was saying, what was she saying? It was something very specific, like stop, or for some reason, I'm going to eat you. It's in my brain, but that's not what happened.
Are you going full evil right now?
So and then all these balloons are like falling down, and then Becky's chasing Rachel through the balloons, and then everyone's booing her. Aggressive. Yeah, this is Becky's darkest timeline.
Very specific.
Yeah. So then Rachel wakes up, and she is nervous because people have been the Broadway bloggers and the tweeters are attacking her and making her feel terrible. Like, the reviews have been good, but the theater kids, they're not supporting her. And you know what? The theater fandom is really toxic.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like just from like I've seen TikToks where people are like dissecting Six and how they would have done it better and all this, and I'm just like, then write your own show, honey.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
So people are trashing on Rachel, and Kurt's like, it's so unfair that anyone can just do this. I love how every form of media commentary on social media always feels like it was written by a boomer. Like there's never been, except for maybe American Vandal. That's the only piece of media I've seen use social media or reference it and its impacts in a way that didn't make me like, I
mean, seeing social media, do you use social media?
Yeah. And like, people were mass producing like porn pamphlets about Marie Antoinette and the French Revolution. Like, weird hate speech isn't like a new thing because of Twitter, Yeah. So whatever. So Rachel feels.
That's a fun fact.
Yeah.
Fun fact. People have always been awful.
Yeah.
Social media has just blown it up and put it in everyone's faces all the time.
Free, what's her name? Ramona.
Hashtag justice for Ramona.
Yeah. Hashtag Ramona's Hard Knock Life.
I'm gonna put that community theater choreographer on blast. Okay. So Kurt's like, we're putting you in a bubble. So a bubble of love and support until your opening night. Honestly, kind of hate that concept. Feel like that's not a very like realistic or useful concept.
My face is one of concerned horror at the moment, just to let you know. I agree. It sounds terrible.
No, because I think they later reference it as like a buffet of love. And if I need to go through the buffet, I have these people. I was like, I didn't like any of that because it was just like, oh, I guess if I just need validation from these 6 people, that'll be good, huh?
No, and he did
like. It's nice that he's like being like supportive in this time. But that is a bubble of love and support. Seems a little bit too coddly. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I get like, hey, maybe you should go off social media. We'll I'll just be here for you in this time.
That has happened yet. She hasn't even gone on yet.
I know.
She hasn't even done it yet.
She's like in a slump that doesn't really need to be a slump right now. Yeah.
Well, because she's like, people, like actors, we want to be loved. Like, we need that validation. That's kind of true, to be honest. But it definitely shows a lot of how it delves into, like, at the end of the day, the root of Rachel's desire for stardom is a desire for like love and adulation and acceptance. And she's not really an artist in that way. She's not really like, it's not like she has things she really wants to express or share with the world. She just wants, she's not a giver.
Well, yeah,
not a giver.
She doesn't have, not that she doesn't have anything to give, but like anytime she's like, oh, I need to access like humanity. Oh, I can't take my town car. I have to ride the subway. Like she has to do like really weird, mundane things to be like, oh yeah, I am a person and I can add depth to my character. Eesh.
Okay, so we all agree. Oy vey.
Yes. But when you said she's not a giver, this song popped into my head. And it's literally about not being a giver. And I want Rachel Berry to sing it now.
In the Gleeboot, baby.
Yep.
So Rachel, they're like love bubbling. And then, so Sam and Mercedes are there to support her. And then guess who's back in town, guys? You tell me, Hannah. Tell me who's back in town.
It's me. Santana. I'm Santana.
Yes.
Well, Santana, yes. But it's Tina.
Oh, yeah, of course. Duh. Tina time.
Drum roll.
Yeah.
I'm literally looking at her name and I chose Santana instead. So I'm just doing what Glee has conditioned me to do. Ignore Tina. Yeah, Tina. She's back. Not just in a dream sequence, she's in person. Presumably Rachel did not give her a train ticket from Brown, wherever that is, Rhode Island, to New York. She had to pay for it herself. So rude, but good friend, I guess.
So Tina shows up and she's like, so glad to be here. She's like, Rachel, are you nervous? This is crazy. Like all those comments online are just haters, like all those people saying that. And like, she's like pointing out all the things that Rachel's insecure about. And she's like, where's Artie and Puck and Quinn? Where is Quinn?
Yeah, where is Quinn?
No one knows.
Fabra.
Yeah. Where Artie is apparently just, he couldn't be bothered for this episode.
They say his film got accepted into like a really, I don't know what city was the film festival.
I don't know.
Daytona or something like
film festival. Yeah, unsure.
His film Bags in the Wind.
Yeah, the one that Julie was narrating.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that one.
Which is basically the thing from American Beauty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're all just staring at each other.
Just like,
if you want quality shorts, you should watch Love, Death, and Robots.
there are stickers that we have for that at work.
They would not pass the scrutiny of our graduate professor for shorts class.
Yeah, the whole concept of short films is very triggering to me.
Honestly, these are
Cullen doesn't
fabulous.
even like to hear the word.
They're fabulous. They're super inspiring. It makes me want to write a bunch of like sci-fi and fantasy shorts.
I hear the word short. I'm like, that doesn't exist in my world.
Not longs.
Not long.
Not long.
That's what I do. They're like, how long does this take? A not long time.
Yeah.
The not long distance.
Yes.
That's a not long person.
You just need more time, Cullen? Is that? you just want more time to flesh it out. That's why you don't like shorts?
Yeah, and we had a professor who was very unhelpful in teaching the concept of shorts.
Okay.
And maybe stressed me out to the point where I would stop eating the entire day I had his class. Especially because you never knew when the class would end, because it just ended when he felt like it, not when it was supposed to end. Didn't matter if that was 2 hours later from when class was supposed to end.
That's a lot.
Yep.
That's gross.
And you know what? Grad school never sent me my diploma.
Really?
No, I never got my diploma.
You gotta like tell them about that.
I know.
Yeah, request that.
I mean,
Yeah.
or you don't. Like, it's not.
No, I want to use it to decorate my new place, so I'm gonna
I don't
request
know
it.
why they didn't just give them to you. You guys walked like.
Well, because we did that semester, the LA semester.
Yeah, but
But I
It was
got mine.
optional.
you were gonna graduate anyway, even if you didn't go. Like I didn't go, and I got mine there. Like they should have just given them. It
They
makes no
should have.
sense. And then they could have just been like, "Oh, you finished. You would have graduated what, December, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, just change the date."
Mine came in an envelope that said explicitly "Do not fold." Folded.
That's hilarious.
Thanks.
That's like a Far Side comic
That's
right
very
there.
funny.
So, yeah, so Artie's not, so they're like, Tina, not helpful. And then Tina's like, I'm just trying to help. And Rachel's like, it's fine. I'm fine. And then they're like, Mercedes is like, Tina, you're going to go stay at my place. And Tina's like, I thought I was staying here. And they're like, excuse me, you are a secondary character. You do not get to stay at the A-plot apartment.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought Tina was really funny in this scene. It was just super ironic. Like, it was well written in that way.
Yeah, she was really funny. And then she was like, they're like, how was Brown? And she's like, oh, I love it. I was dating this amazing guy, but and they're like, and he turned out to be, and they're like, gay, and Kurt's like, homosexual. So whenever, because of that scene, I've seen that clip before, whenever people are saying like gay or something, I hear like Kurt's voice in my head going, homosexual. But they're like, she's like, no. Yeah.
All
So-
right, yes.
Yeah, yes.
Tina
has a type.
She has a type.
And that
and
type doesn't really like her back that way.
Yes,
That
it's
type-
complicated.
bottoms for more people than Jesus. Reference to last week's episode.
I literally had tears in my eyes half the time editing that. That was too good. So many things that need to be on t-shirts that I wouldn't wear, but maybe someone would. So good.
Unintended porn recipe for disaster.
So good.
So then Sue comes in and they're like, what are you doing here? And she's like, well, Will Schuster, turns out he was trying to sleep with me. He was a perp this whole time. So I'm here to stay with you so I can watch Rachel choke on her big Broadway premiere. And they're like, what? She's going to choke. She did it at her Miata audition. She'll do it
How
again.
does Sue know where they live? How?
Well, if she's principal of the school and they updated their address with the school, perhaps for
possibly
alumni
Yes, I did not think of
get-togethers
that.
and shit,
Especially because they're
That just
at
came
that
to my
school
They're just all on a mailing list somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, specifically, they're the only kids too, just the Glee kids. Everyone else is given like fake addresses.
And then, because she walks in and she's like, you don't even have a lock on your door. Do you expect the rapist to just find the other apartment of nubile 19-year-olds?
I'm so glad someone pointed it out. Like, weirdly, Sue is that person who like points out the like weird flaws of the show. Like, that's
Mhm.
really the
No, I feel like
good
when you
part of
get
her.
into the end of this one, and then into the next season, everybody's just very well aware of like the tropes that have been created, and they reference it constantly.
Well, could be a good thing.
It's definitely like, I feel like when I watched this like in high school and the beginning of college, when you watch the end of it, you're like, is this getting meta? Like,
Oh yeah, it hit meta Probably last season a lot.
Yeah. Like it just continually, because see, I don't know full context of like where we are, and I don't want to give too much away, but I remember there's some scene in some episode where there's like a murder board of all of like the characters. Basically, there's like all of the and then it's like, where'd this guy go? And it was like one of the people from the Glee Club in season 1.
Love it.
And it's like got big question marks around it or whatever. So it's like definitely like they know what they did.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was pretty funny about the unlocked door.
Yeah, because it is weird. Like,
because we say it every time someone comes to visit or decides. There's no deterrent. They just slide open that door.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's not even. There's not even a latch. Like.
No.
Yeah.
And it's a barn door that goes like right into their living room too. It's not even anything that goes into like an entryway or anything like that. You're just in the space.
How would you even lock it? What kind of lock would you get?
I guess a padlock. You'd have to like install a whole latch.
Yeah.
It just seems like it was designed by someone who's like, oh, this feels really like cool and hip, without thinking like, well, you'd have to lock your door.
Safety.
Functionality, yeah.
I thought that's what like New York lofts were like.
Yeah.
I just want one of those big wooden like blocks that you put in the door, but it wouldn't even work that way because it's a barn door. So you just slide it open and step underneath.
Yeah. So yeah, she's like, Rachel's gonna choke, and they're all like mad. And then I guess Sue just like puts her stuff in Kurt's room and then goes about her merry way. And then so they're like, we gotta love bubble Rachel or whatever. So she's like so scared she's gonna choke, and she's so scared to go on, and she's never felt like this before. She's just all curled up in her bed. And they're like, yeah, usually she's like pushing people out of the way to get on stage. So like Blaine comes in and he's going to try and like give her a massage or something, and she's not having it. Sam's going to play her a song on the guitar. She cuts the strings. Kurt comes in with a gift basket. The note. This is one of my, so it's like a note like, Fanny's one of my favorite roles. So happy to pass this on to you. Sincerely, Barbara. And then Rachel's like, you would know Barbara dropped the A as an act of rebellion in 19 something or whatever. You would know this, Kurt. Who wrote that? Tina?
Wait, I'm so confused. Did she sign her name Barbara?
I think Barbara, not Barbara.
Yeah,
like
okay, got it.
R-A.
I was like, which A is she dropping? Because
Rebellious.
Barbara.
So she's like, who wrote this, Tina? So Tina's like, I can't believe my note didn't work. And then they're like, we only know one person who can do this. And then Santana steps out of the limo, flips her hair, gets attacked by a pigeon.
Icon.
Steps in, and she's like, I got this. She comes in and she's like, if you want a pep talk, call Mr. Shu. That's not what I do. You suck at so much, but you're good at this. And
proceeds to give pep talk.
She sits down and she reads. She's like, I looked at some reviews, and it's like, she is a Hittite princess, you know, she's grading and all this stuff. And Rachel's like, oh, those are awful. And she's like, so those are written about Barbara.
Do you think those are real? Because like, who was talking freakish hands?
I mean, honestly, probably. I could see it.
They sound real. I mean,
theater critics have always kind of been like,
talking about somebody they thought
insane,
incredibly petty.
Yeah. So so that this is what Rachel needed.
It was kind of like, I really wanted to see Santana be like, get your shit together. None of these people have anything on you, and you're being an absolute baby. Just like buck up.
Right.
You
like,
know?
don't be an asshole. Like, you gotta
Yeah, exactly. Be a professional and stop looking at shit. And that's not what happened.
Kurt finds her, like, she like snuck in a bunch of laptops and reviews.
Yeah, it was weird. That it was almost like when you find someone like doing something they're not supposed
like
to.
Like binge eating or like, yeah.
Yeah.
But that would be Blaine, according to last episode, not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's his status on getting healthier again?
The fact that he was never overweight to begin with, so they can literally drop.
Yeah, he was so
point.
unhealthy. I mean, did you see him? That was sarcasm.
See him eat that.
Although the way he devoured Cheetos does disturb me, or cheese puffs, whatever they were.
So this is what Rachel needed, because it's in hands like we have two speeds: awesome or not at all. So Rachel's gonna do awesome.
I really just wanted it to be like Santana being, you know, the bitch that she is would actually bring Rachel out of her funk. But it was kind of, Santana was kind of out of character in this scene, I think.
I think they're trying to be like, okay, these characters are all allegedly friends.
Well, it's interesting because I thought that was a great pep talk and like it was well written. I just don't think it would have been delivered by Santana.
Right.
Yeah, it's probably slightly more of a Mercedes, or even a Kurt.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe Kurt, but if you just shift around some of the roles that people play in this whole storyline, I think it would add up a little bit nicer.
Yeah, maybe it should have been Susie Pepper.
Wow, a name I haven't heard in so long.
So, okay, so this gets Rachel out of her funk, not the episode Funk in season 1. And then she's gonna perform. So she's in the dressing room, and the guy's like, "This is the big night. This is showbiz, baby. You know, all the money, all the investments will go out the window, and it'll be closing night on opening night if you don't sell it."
Why would you in their right mind? Yeah, exactly.
Especially somebody that you put money into, like even from a business standpoint, like protect your talent. Like all you would need to do is just be like, you're gonna crush it. Like get out there. Like, you don't have to be like, it's all riding on you, kid. Because at this point, what are they, 19?
Yeah, maybe 20.
like my 19, 20-year-old self, if someone's like, yeah, this is gonna start and end with one performance, I'd probably be like,
Amy before orientation dances.
Yes.
No one will go to Oakland if you don't execute this dance to Good Vibrations.
Yes.
Perfectly.
The Glee version of Good Vibrations or the Marky Mark original?
The context there is that when we were orientation group leaders, we all had to choose a dance to like be like our baseball walk-up song, basically, that we like dance into
at like 7 in the morning.
Yeah, to like a group of teenagers who did not want any of it, but I chose Marky Mark's Good Vibration.
Amazing.
And I
crushed, clearly.
Yeah.
So many people went to Oakland.
You did crush that dance. You saved Oakland University. That was the year. That was the next year. They had to be like, okay, the dances need to be a little less sexual, because we had someone. What was Justin's song? I can't remember.
Wasn't it Sexy and I Know It? Or like, it was
and he would basically like thrust his crotch and like
he had rip-off pants.
Yeah.
Well, Wow.
Peak cringe.
Everything about orientation was cringe. It was me singing One Direction outside by a lamppost at like 8 a.m.
We were living a fantasy.
But like that fantasy really bonded us.
Yeah, forever. For literally forever.
So okay. Yeah, he's like, it's all running on you, kid. He's basically like, these are the stakes for the episode.
Yeah.
In case you don't know what a Broadway is, here are the stakes. And then Sue comes in and is all like, Rachel, I always knew we would end up here. Freudian slip. And then he's like, no, I mean you. Mr. Shu is kind of a sad man. But
wasn't he already on Broadway though with April?
I think he decided not to.
But I thought he.
Remember, he was going to, and then they're like, "You're gonna abandon us."
Oh right.
Yeah. Was that season 1?
That was season
3.
2.
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3.
2?
Because I think it was like around the rumors
It's
episode.
definitely not 3.
It was on the rumors episode, and then he sang that song, and when they went to New York, he was like running around, and he sang the Matthew Morrison original, and that guy was like, "You got it, kid. You got it, 35-year-old man." And then he had to decide,
Yeah. Okay.
So then, so Rachel, yeah. And then, but she's like so happy he's there, so excited, and then Emma calls. She's going into labor.
Of course. Of course.
So Will has to rush back home. I'm like, okay, later on, he was there for the birth of the child. And I'm like, how quick is this turnaround time from New York to Ohio? Like,
well, let me tell you, going from Ohio to New York, about an hour in the air, but trying to get out of New York is a nightmare. It really is.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I feel like if you were like, it's nighttime, obvious. Like this show is about to begin. So you're in like peak New York traffic.
Yeah.
You're having to just leave Broadway. So you're in a very like people-centric area. And then you're like, did he catch another flight? Because Sue obviously caught a flight back. So was their one-way ticket able to be changed? Did he have to take an Uber Plus?
Which didn't exist yet.
Right.
So like how?
That was I did notice that where I was like, how can you leave right now? Like, are you about to go
also,
fight with a poor like Delta person?
Yeah.
Like, or wouldn't you just go book your flight in the lobby on your phone's data plan, book your flight. And honestly, it probably isn't leaving for like 6 more hours. You could probably watch the show and then go. Like, it's just the reality is you wouldn't do this when your wife is that close to giving birth.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's not described as like a premature birth or like a surprise.
Right, because I think they kind of reference that she's like ready to go at any moment. So, okay, unrealistic, but fine. We suspend our belief.
And so, meanwhile, Sue is trying to like scalp her ticket, and then she sees this man trying to scalp the ticket.
His ticket, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that man was on Suburgatory. What is that actor? Guy Sue falls in love with.
Wait, I think you can look up like the wiki on that episode. Hold on.
Oh, that's probably better.
What was his name?
I don't remember. I really did not care. All right, the Glee wiki. Always there for me.
Mario, whose name is Chris Parnell.
Chris Parnell, yes. Okay, let me pull up.
Oh yeah, Chris Parnell, SNL actor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Known for Archer, Rick and Morty, 21 Jump Street.
Yeah,
Rebel
like he
Wilson
played Jerry
Senior
on Rick
Year.
and Morty. He's the dad.
The Chronicles of Narnia song sung by The Lonely Island featuring Chris Parnell.
Okay.
I love that
Great song. Great song.
Yeah. I think I'll just be walking around living my life and I sing that song in my head. And yeah.
It's the Chronicles of Narnia. Yeah. So good. I love Lonely Island. Anyway.
Yeah, it's good.
Anchorman 2. Hotel Transylvania.
All of the all of the Hotel Transylvania films.
Haven't seen those.
But he wasn't spiritual.
And I remember offending Cullen.
When you didn't. Well, we
You
just
were like,
talked
you
about.
haven't seen them? I'm like, what reason would I have to watch those movies? Those animated movies for children. I don't have children in my life. I'm not super into animation, except for Prince of Egypt.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
He was in the Be
Naturally.
Cool Scooby-Doo episode, Grand Scam, as Dustin Walsreath, Jim McCoy, and Cop. He was Zacharias in Sophia the First.
Okay, so Mario, who's scalping his ticket.
Yeah, let's get back. So and Sue's just struck by his jadedness. And so they're sitting down, they're in the theater, and apparently she's just, Sue and the Glee kids are just right next to the New York Times critic.
Yeah, I don't know what that is about.
How do they know who he is? Like, did he announce himself? Is there like a thing on in the back of his chair?
Yeah, he's like scooching and he's like, excuse me, I'm the New York Times critic. Excuse me. Sorry. I don't mean to put my ass in your face. Excuse me.
You're like, oh, pardon me. Like, oh, I'm gonna just squeeze past.
Here's my press pass. Yeah, I'm with the New York Times.
I don't know who you guys are, but
do theater critics also get super nice seats like restaurant critics do?
Yeah.
I was like, but maybe like Rachel got them tickets,
right?
And it was like a press
right in
area.
that
That's the only thing
area.
I can think of is that they were seated in like a press area.
Like, to me, I'm like, why would Rachel have that many for opening night? I can see opening weekend, but like for like 8 of her friends.
That also means that she would have bought the ticket for Sue and Sue, which would have been Sue and Emma, but Emma's too pregnant.
Yeah, like, did she just like give them the tickets? Like they didn't have to pay for it? Because
Yeah,
then,
I
like,
think they do get comped tickets.
right. So comp tickets means like they're losing money on the production.
Wait a
and
second.
on opening night, they wouldn't give away that many tickets.
She could maybe have her dad's, or if she was
Maybe,
like,
like 2 people.
or she was like with someone, she could have them. Yeah.
If she paid for Will's tickets, and he was like, Sue, you have to pay for your ticket. That means Sue paid him for a free ticket.
So,
I would actually love that though, if that was the case. He paid for like 10 tickets and then Sue's like, hey, you have to pay me back for something he didn't even buy.
Yep.
So opening number. Okay, first of all, this theater does not giving Broadway vibes.
I was thinking the same thing. Thank you. Because I was like, I'm capturing my brain and I'm like, is this like off Broadway? Is this like on Broadway somewhere where I wouldn't have thought?
Okay, please explain this because I have no idea what Broadway is supposed to look like.
Have you been to like a touring musical before?
No, unfortunately.
No, but you've been to Phantom. I remember this when we lived together. Didn't you go see Phantom of the Opera?
I did go see Phantom.
Was it touring? Where did you
I don't
see it? In
know.
LA?
I can't remember.
Was it in Hollywood or downtown?
Downtown?
Okay, there's a big theater downtown. Now, no, those theaters tend to be like old. There's like cool decorations.
Very ornate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was. Yeah. It
Yeah, like
didn't
if you
feel
go see
modern or anything.
in Detroit at like the Fox or something, it's huge and it's got like marble
Yeah.
and it's got like a mosaic ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the only musical tour I saw one at Michigan State, and that was definitely more modern, but it was still huge.
Yeah, Phantom wasn't huge, in my opinion. But also, I don't know. Maybe it was huge, and I'm just like comparing it to venues that don't make sense. I don't know for this.
Most of like the Detroit theaters are like historic buildings, like they're old.
Yeah.
So a lot of them are like grand. Like even if the stage is not that big, the building itself is like plush, like velvet everywhere, staircases, like very nice.
So it's just like older, and
that's what I'm connoting it with.
Yeah,
historic building.
Yeah,
innate. Like, because when I saw Frozen, like it definitely wasn't as big as some of the theaters in Detroit or even the one in Boston. It was still big, but like it was, you could definitely tell it was New York because it was compact. It was very like, you know, as opposed to like Detroit, which is very sprawling, you know, like it's just kind of this compact, but it was still had this very kind of grand feeling. And the sets pretty grand. This theater was giving community theater. Like,
is this the same like set that they use basically for like every stage performance? It kind of looks like it. Like I'm looking at the photos.
Wait, what do you mean of?
Like it's the same one that's at the high school. It's the same one that they use for like.
I don't think so.
Well, I guess
it was different, but it was very similar.
To me, it was giving like one woman show. It was giving Victorious like Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago.
I was surprised that they didn't at the very least like make the set and the feeling of Funny Girl feel more high budget. I mean, look at all the high budget stuff they do just for random songs, and this is supposed to be a Broadway show.
Yeah, Roar had more production value.
Yeah, the NYC number felt like it was.
I was gonna say the carbon cutouts.
Exactly.
I see a brick wall in one of these photos. That's cool.
It was very like, I get, you know, doing that is expensive, but it was giving me Smash series finale, like when Smash did the Tonys, but like the show was very clearly getting canceled. They didn't have a lot of money, so it was like cut to look bigger than it was, and like
cringe.
Yeah. So they, it's not a very impressive production. She's singing "I'm the Greatest Star." Kurt's already sang this song.
Really?
Second time. Is this
okay?
He sang this when he was trying to say he could be a masculine male lead in West Side Story.
Oh.
And he did the knife spinning and the climbing.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I remember the climbing. I don't remember the knife spinning.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like I remember the general, but I don't remember that it was that song. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed to realize that he knew knife spinning before he went to the class that taught stage combat. Because they show him knife spinning in that too. And I was like, oh, cool. That's a cool thing he learned. No.
He already knew it. He learned that off YouTube. 2009 level YouTube.
Grainy videos at 340.
So
those days.
The olden days.
The only time his dad was like, maybe he's not gay.
He's watching sword videos. That's a pretty masculine thing. Oh no!
They're like, no, it's for
sword dancing. Got it.
Yeah.
So like, you know, we've talked about the whole Lea Michele versus Beanie Feldstein kind of stuff. We've talked about that. You know, and some people have talked about, yes, there's the vocal element of this role, but there's also the comedy element of this role. You know, I usually, you know, I'm not a totally a Michelle hater. Like, I usually think her musical performances get the job done. They're affecting.
Comedic timing, not her thing.
She's been funny, but like the character of Rachel is more funny because she's absurd, not because she's witty.
Right. And we also know that she has a history of hating improv on set. So
yes,
there's that.
So like her performance, like I would have seen that performance at like my local production of Funny Girl. Like it'd been like, great, cool. You know, like it's not like it was bad. It's not like it was even cringy. It was just like it wasn't funny. You know, that's the thing. It's like she's trying to be like,
is that song supposed to be funny?
I mean, she was saying things like they were supposed to be jokes and people were laughing. But I was like, I don't get it.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't think it was funny. It did not strike me as being.
I actually think I got embarrassed at that coughing bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, this girl is not Broadway ready. At least not for this role. And
I feel like, so Fanny Brice, like real person, was a comedian, right?
Yeah.
And then like you think about Rachel Berry, like she's not, I feel like, I don't know. It's really weird. Like you have to be funny.
It's her Funny Girl.
They really only picked her because of her voice, probably. Because when she was doing those like practice scenes with Mr. Fantastic, right?
Yeah.
Super stretchy guy. The original, not the one featured in Doctor Strange. It was like cringe. Like it was not good.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I was thinking, like, what Broadway role would I cast Rachel Berry? I could see her as an Elphaba.
I could see her as a Wendla in Spring Awakening, because it's a very dramatic role. There's not much comedy to her role, and it's singing, like not like Leah Michelle, but like
a Christine. She could be a phantom of the, you know.
Yeah, a Christine, like the funniest,
like a big heaving,
The funniest I would cast Rachel Berry is Eliza Doolittle and My Fair Lady, and I think even that would be a stretch. Yeah. But Eliza is so broad. She's not necessarily witty as much as she's like fiery and like has this accent. So I think Rachel Berry, we're not talking Leah Michelle, we're talking Rachel Berry. I think that's the funniest I would go with her. But there are a lot of leading ladies she could pull off. But I don't think Funny Girl was the right pick. And I think they like
the only reason they chose it was Barbara
stuff.
Yeah. They like wrote themselves into this corner.
Yeah.
But like I think it could have been interesting if it wasn't her dream role. Like she's already getting on Broadway at 20. It could be not her dream role. She could be in a workshop of an original show written by Jeremy Jordan. No. But like, yeah, she could be in like an original show, or like I could see her in so many things, you know, but just not this role.
I know, or even if you were like, oh, I'm 20 and I got cast as like, not necessarily like a Penny Pingleton, but like, you know what I mean? Like something next to a lead role and still be.
Who's Penny Pingleton again?
In Hairspray?
Yeah, I was going to be like the best friend in Hairspray. I could see her as that.
Hairspray.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd still be huge.
Yeah.
I could see her in Waitress. I could see her in Beauty and the Beast. You know, like Rachel could do a lot, but
why Barbara was even so much an icon for her, because like you would think she would have practiced being on her comedic timing more and being so into Barbara, because Barbara is a funny person. She's a funny actor, but she's also a good dramatic actor and an amazing singer. It's just like,
I think they
so
did
weird.
It because of the Jewish thing and the nose thing.
Yeah, and that's.
But like, there are a lot of Jewish Broadway performers.
It just
like I think Bernadette Peters. You know, like.
Yes, put her in Rent, put her in Into the Woods, put her in, I
was thinking how they did West Side Story in the high school. Into the Woods would have been a way better choice because they have so many star performers in that Glee club. I was thinking of this because I did No One Is Alone, and I'm like, that was a weird place to put it.
Yeah.
And like, there's so many star performers in that Glee Club. Like an ensemble show, like Into the Woods, would have been better than like one of the shows that has like 2 female leads.
So what we're saying is Glee got everything wrong.
Yeah,
That's why we need the Gleeboot.
Yeah.
Big surprise.
Yeah. So, okay. Sue walks out. She's like, I hate this. She walks out. And so does her true love, Mario. And she's like, she asks the doorman, like, can you hail me a cab? And he's like, you're not from here, are you? And they're commiserating. Yeah, like, he's like, I got these tickets from a client. It wasn't very good. I thought it was supposed to be about a funny girl. I'm like, fair.
It's not the worst assumption to make.
And then she's like, oh, are you an escort client? She jumps there. And I'm like, did she hear about Brody? Why is she jumping to escort? And then he's like, no, I am a restaurateur. And they go to his restaurant. It's an Italian place. She's like, no one's ever cooked for me before. And she's like, are you married? And she's like, no. And he's like, I'm not either. I'm married to the city. And I'm like, that's weird.
Well, she also was like, I divorced from myself. I'm like, how would that not feel like? First warning.
I'm like,
raised woman.
Is Mario actually married to the city? Because Sue was actually married to herself.
Yeah. Then they would be a perfect match.
Mario's a polygamist.
He needs to get divorced first, though.
Yeah. New York does not take well to being cheated on.
Lady Liberty will not have it.
So they're flirting. They're having a grand old time.
Pasta looks good.
Pasta looks good.
Did look good.
Sharing pasta with a woman who supports caning.
Yeah.
He was like talking about gnocchi, and I was like, I'm there.
You're like, I'm in love with Mario if he's feeding me.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, we're not Kurt turning down the Alfredo that Blaine made.
Never.
Never. And so, meanwhile, halftime. When did I become a sports person? Intermission.
A little bit of halftime.
They come in, like all of her friends are just allowed backstage, and I'm like, you couldn't have done that in like a high school play, let alone on Broadway.
Yeah, there's no security.
Yeah, I just remember when I remember these girls would, like when I was in community theater, I think this was Annie, these girls were like backstage and they were like doing like theater fan videos. Like I want to say they were TikToks, but this is way before TikTok, but something like that. And we're being like, who are these girls? And the other kids were like, oh my gosh, they're like these awkward like fangirls that just like theater, but they're too scared to be in plays, but they'll just hang out backstage. I'm just like, why? Like, why are you letting what like yeah, so
they were just not like connected to this at all.
I think they were friends or somebody's sibling, but like they had no official role in the production.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're definitely suspending our belief on a lot of this production.
So
okay, so they get in.
They get in. They're like, "Oh, that was amazing!" And the director comes in, and it's all the producer. The director's nowhere to be found. It's all the producer now. He's like,
yeah, where is Carlisle Cullen?
He's like, the New York Times critic seems to be liking it, but those people walking out in the middle of your opener, that's rough. Which is true. That does kind of suck.
I'm surprised like she would be able to see it though, because the lighting generally doesn't look like the way that they were showing it.
I know, but like this has happened multiple times in Glee where they can just see the audience.
I mean, you just would not be able to see if anyone was walking out.
I hated when I saw Frozen and people were on their phone in front of me, and I was like, "We're on Broadway, like get it together." Get it together. Like I'm like, I paid money. for this. Like it was, I got
And presumably so did they.
Yeah, I'm like, I got a good deal on these tickets, but it wasn't like cheap. Like, yeah. Anyway, so he's like, that is rough, but you gotta do my man at the ending. It's got to be really good. Meanwhile, Sue is talking about how she's seen Rachel Berry butcher many a musical theater number in her lifetime. And I'm like, I mean, usually they're good performances, but fair. I remember that Ding Dong the Witch is Dead one. Rough.
Oh, God.
Or when she sent someone to a crack house and then sang What I Did for Love from a chorus line. Good performance, bad context. But Rachel is singing the finale of her Broadway debut. She's crying. She's thinking of Finn, her true love that died. She's opening. This could be an amazing Glee moment. Like everything that Rachel has been through in 5 seasons of Glee has been building up to this moment. Rarely have I ever complained that Rachel wasn't getting enough spotlight. Glee booties. Tell me if I have, but I don't think I've ever
I don't think you've
that.
ever said that. I think now is the first time, and taken out of context, we could deep fake it.
But like, then it cuts to Sue slow dancing with Mario singing this. I'm like, I have seen Sue allegedly fall in love so many fucking times. I don't care. This woman is a bully. She's violent. Like, yeah, she's funny and it's a satire, but I'm not emotionally invested in what happens to her.
She's not the protagonist.
Yeah.
Right. And this is an exceptionally emotional scene. Like, there are other ways that you could have done this.
Even if you had cut to like Kurt singing about blame or something, but this really
let it be. It's what isn't this the whole thing? It's all that she wanted. It's the apex of her dream. It's the culmination of why she's been so nasty to everybody else, like in her life, solos only. And this is her big solo, and it's not even a solo.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It's so.
Like, are we saying Glee did Rachel Berry dirty?
Dirty.
Whoa.
Dirty.
Yeah. And I was upset that they intermix Sue in also, because we get a lot of like background or back flashes of Finn, which were super emotional, and Sue just it was not a good combo.
It was just the most bizarre choice.
Just not the time.
Because, Glee does flirt between sincerity and irony, but in these like musical theater moments, you really just need to embrace the sincerity. And I think Glee is sometimes at its strongest when it finds those moments of sincerity, when it doesn't dwell in it too much, but it finds that really powerful musical moment. And in that song, in that moment, everything's sincere.
You took it at face value when you were watching it for the first time, like as these were coming out weekly. It was like a beautiful moment. It was supposed to be like the Midwestern dream, like you can do it. She did it. This is what she wanted. She's seeing like her whole life without the man that she loved coming, and she bought him a seat for the show, and to have it being like it cheapened. I guess it felt cheapened. That's how
it's so bizarre because so many times Glee writes itself into weird corners where you're like, okay, like I guess this is the best thing they could do, but like this was an easy home run.
Let her sing.
Yeah, just let Rachel sing her 40 million solo. You've done it before. You can do it again.
Uninterrupted. Yeah. No,
She's
I
saying
definitely.
People uninterrupted as people ate potluck dinner a few weeks ago, and that song had nothing to do with anything.
I agree with you.
So I was so mad. So Rachel, she premieres on Broadway. It's amazing. Everyone loves it. Rave reviews, clapping, and they're like, we're doing a party. We're eating heavy Italian food. You'll find out. You can bring all your friends. You'll find out if you made it, or like we'll find out our fate when the New York Times review comes. And like, there are multiple newspapers in New York that review musicals, but okay.
I think I'm gonna start telling people that like eggplant parmesan brings me like good fortune. And see what that gets me in life.
And then this group of 19-year-olds does what no group of 19-year-olds ever does and turns down a free meal.
Oh, yeah, no, you don't do that. As a 28-year-old person, I still would not do that.
Yeah.
Are you
I'm going to be 28.
Okay, I was like, wait.
Almost in a whole month.
Okay.
Age yourself up. Good. Do it. Round up.
I might as well. I'm getting so close to 30. Might as well. Let's just. I'm 47.
I'm 16. A grandmother.
I'm 65. Yes. A grandmother.
So they're like, they decide, she's like, I don't want to go because everyone's gonna be talking about the show and there'll be a lot of nerves, which okay, valid, I'll take it. And then Blaine's like, I know this place that really would love you. So this group of 19-year-olds goes to a bar, and some gay bars I guess are 18 plus,
right? Yeah.
But I was kind of like, how are they even getting in? But they get in, and this bartender is like, wait, are you Rachel Berry? And for whatever reason, I hated it. I hated that line. I don't know why. It felt so unreal. I'm like, Rachel Berry is not a celebrity's name. No one would say that.
No.
But it's supposed to be this moment. Like, I guess I'll give them that. It's supposed to be like this moment. She's getting recognized, right?
They've all been tracking this funny girl show.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not a very gay musical. Like, it's very old and like... Yeah.
Yeah, right. I get it. It could be a gay musical, but it's not like whatever they were portraying as this like really hot spot.
Yeah, it was not going to be like, ooh, funny girl.
Yeah, we've been tracking the show like all night.
They're like, how did it go? Was it amazing? And she's just like, oh my gosh. And they're like,
and also, how does this bar have more production value than like the funny girl set?
Exactly. It's probably because it was a real bar and they didn't have to do as much.
They didn't have to do much, yeah.
And then they're like, you have to sing us a song. And she's like, oh my gosh, really? It's like very much the Mariah Carey that, oh my gosh, I can't. When would I even come in? And so she sings Pumpin' Blood. And she's dancing around with Mercedes and Tina and Santana and Kurt and Blaine and Sam. And they're gays gyrating, and there's a swing, and she's signing she's signing somebody's back. And I'm like, okay, overall good number, great celebration, like
fine.
Yeah, like this could have been the celebration of the friendship, that how far it got Rachel, how far it got these Glee Club kids. They're celebrating, they're accepted, This could have been kind of a nice moment. Not that it wasn't nice, but it could have meant more.
It's also a little weird that she doesn't go to literally like the cast and show party. Like, isn't that kind of like a commitment thing that the stars should do?
Would kind of look bad. Like,
yeah.
Also, because the director explicitly said, we're going to celebrate, we're going to have a party. And then we don't go to the party.
Like, you go get the free food and then go dance. So you're not drunk because you're not drinking on an empty stomach.
There you go. Also, I feel like she probably shouldn't be singing. She's been the last 2 hours singing. She needs to rest her voice.
Actually, when she screamed, I was like, oh my God, stop.
Ow.
Yeah, she has to sing the next night.
Yeah, literally in 12 hours.
Yeah.
So but it was fun. They were up all night. They come back and they're like chilling, whatever. They're like, Santana's like, I haven't danced that hard since regionals or nationals. I think she says 2 years ago.
Which
whatever that means.
In New York, right?
No, that would have been Nationals, like the
We're
one
just
they
trying to
won.
piece it together.
With hints, like it's National Treasure.
Love that movie. That is a reference I understand.
And then Sue comes out in her old lady nightgown and is like, hey. And then she's like, you walked out of my show. And Sue's like, I almost came back for the second act so I could walk out again. And Rachel's like, what are you doing in my apartment? And then she's like, and St. Hannah's about to go off on her. And Rachel's like, I got this. She's like, you made my life a living hell in high school. You are a bully. And you said it was to push us. But because you were keeping us down, not even able to grasp for air, we couldn't realize that you're like this sad, lonely, miserable woman who only feels good when she's putting other people down, and I would feel bad for you, but I don't, because I just want you to get the hell out of my apartment so I can celebrate with my friends. And they're like, couldn't have said it better myself. The best part is during this speech, Blaine just kind of walks into the room like, hey, what's going on? And because it's also...
I was watching his defocused reactions as we were looking at Sue's reaction shot. He was in the background in complete defocus, and I was watching his face instead of hers.
And the guy comes out and is all like, oh, I'll take my coffee black. And Kurt's like, you're wearing my robe. And he's like, oh, do you want it back? He's like, oh, where'd you get it? He's like, just keep it. And because Sue's like, we had sex all over the apartment. But, after Rachel's rant, Sue's like, I suddenly don't feel welcome here anymore. And I'm like, film yourself harassing a Walmart employee, Karen, get out.
Yes.
It also felt super weird because they were trying to play with Sue's comedy the entire episode, and then this particular moment is not comedic at all. It's just like not.
It's Rachel triumphing over her villain.
Yeah, this is Sue's villainy and not funny.
And so then, but she's right. That's the thing. It's yes, was Louis Michelle's line delivery a tad annoying? Maybe. But she's right. Sue, not a good person.
I don't know why they would even call the cops.
Yeah.
If you think that I would not call the police on my former gym teacher
Put that on a t-shirt.
for being in my house,
having sex with a stranger.
I told Cullen, I was like, these you always forget how wildly inappropriate the quote unquote adults are supposed to be, but these are children. These are literally still mostly teenagers, 19, 20 kids. So if someone if someone I knew, if you put that into context and the principal of your school came into your house and then violated your house, I would be like, you're done. I will never, we're going to file a restraining order. We're going to take so many steps to make sure that you're never going to appear in my life ever again.
And you'll lose your job because you're not allowed to work with children after that.
No.
Yep.
You would think having intercourse.
I think wouldn't that make you, I'm not sure if that would make you a sex offender, but it might.
I don't know if it would be, it's very icky and it's trespassing. Nobody said you can come in here, locks or not.
Yeah.
Well, no, didn't they say that she could stay there?
She just kind of said, I'm going to stay in Kurt's room.
Kind of said
I'm surprised she didn't pull squatters' rights on them. I live here now.
Do an Uno reverse.
So Sue slumps out, and then let's just wrap Sue up. She's walking with the guy and she's like, I guess I love New York. It's terrible, but I love it. But I have to go. I have a daughter with Michael Bolton.
Just dropping a nice bomb.
And she's like, I like being a big fish in a small pond. Bully. Toxic.
Yeah.
narcissist. Yeah. And he's like, okay, you know, like, I guess we're not meant to be, but he's like, you know, that short girl was wrong. You know, you are capable of love and you do deserve love. And, you know, I do know Cinderella 3: A Twist in Time says everyone deserves true love. And I guess I believe that. But Sue needs to really change things.
I don't believe that.
Does everyone deserve true love?
You know, in that movie,
because not everyone gets true love. So who are we to say who deserves it? Like, that's just opening a can of worms there.
you know, Anastasia made some efforts to improve for the better in that movie, but Sue has not.
No, this is not like a love you as you are. Instead, like, you could maybe get somebody to love you after many years of therapy.
Yeah.
And
Chris
reparations, legal reparations.
yes, financial compensation.
Chris Parnell is going off of just of what like Rachel's saying, but like he doesn't know that she literally initiated a caning policy at her school that she works at. So
this is one of my favorite parts of the podcast is we will take a throwaway joke that Glee makes and be like, but you made it canon.
Never forget.
So this is happening in this universe. Someone is getting caned right now.
That's so funny.
So, and it's for being truant, I'm pretty sure.
yes,
So that's
truancy.
probably might affect low income or children of single parents even more.
Yes. So super racist
And abusive.
Yeah. So then the friends, the squad, they run out. They're gonna get the newspaper, and the guy's like, it's gonna be online in 3 minutes. And they're like, no, just give us the paper. Sam's the one who pays for it. Sam, the model. Yep. The struggling model. I guess he has that bubble butt underwear money. But he buys the paper and they're reading it and they're like, why dust off this old gal of a show? You know, this feels especially relevant with the Funny Girl revival. A lot of people were actually saying that, like,
yeah,
is this a show we need to bring back?
Yeah.
And they're like, the answer, Rachel Berry. She's a talent. She's a supernova. She's everything. And they're like, everyone's passing along the paper to read a line. And they're like, I'll definitely be coming back for more Rachel Berry.
Yes. It was a rave. It was a rave review.
And again, it's Rachel getting everything she wants on a silver platter. Like, her only struggles in the show were Santana harassing her, which obviously was awful. But, you know, that resolved itself with very little effort on her part, actually. And then deciding between Niata and being on Broadway. Those are her only challenges. And none of them have to do with her, like, skill and doing well in the role.
Yeah, like it could have been an interesting storyline if they're like, hey, you're underperforming in your role. Like, we cast you because you're this new upcoming talent, but you have to work twice as hard because this is your first time, you know?
Yeah.
So, but this rave review, you know where it would feel really like nice? Maybe a series finale. Maybe this character has achieved something and her journey is done.
Journey.
Right.
Journey. She has not stopped believing.
Yeah, she didn't stop believing.
Get to this point. She believed her way here, which is really the plot of Glee. That's the plot of Glee.
Believe your way to success.
Yep.
Believe your way into your dreams.
Also the plot of Cinderella 1, Not a Twist in Time.
Is that the official title? Wow, fascinating.
The
So I just called Cinderella. It's Cinderella 1, Not a Twist in Time. Because in the future, we're going to name the third movie A Twist in Time. So
and they knew that in 1950.
Yeah, ahead of time.
Yeah, I was like in the 50s when that came out. Yeah.
They pre-knew.
So
They
believed their way to success.
You know, she did. And I like that kind of story, you know, sure.
Right. It's the kind of optimism that they kind of originally were writing about when in the first few seasons.
Yeah, Kurt believed his way to like love and finding a place where he feels like he belongs. Mercedes believed her way to a record deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I thought you were gonna say finding his way to an apartment.
finding his way to an apartment.
If I could believe myself to an apartment, you know I would.
So, oh my gosh. So, yeah, so it's this big moment and they're all super happy. And then Mr. Shu calls. And Mr. Shu is like, Emma had a kid. I did too, I guess. Emma had a baby. I made it for the last few pushes.
Yeah.
Did we talk about the fact that he tried to tell her to stop?
On the phone?
To wait? Yeah.
Hold that baby in. Cross your legs.
The first time we hear him on the phone, he says,
you know what?
Wait till I get there. Can you try to wait? And I was like,
you know what?
My God.
Mr. Shu, I believe that he would also say that to a student who's like, yeah, I have to go to the bathroom. I have to like change my tampon or whatever. He'd be like, can't you just like hold it? He's that kind of man.
It's reference to the goddess Juno. She wouldn't let the childbirth goddess let Leto give birth to Apollo and Artemis.
Well, you know, it'd be like that sometimes.
It'd be like that.
It do be that.
Will has an altar to the Greek childbirth goddess and is like, wait for funny girl. And she's like, oh, he's prayed to me now. I mean, what's going on? And
yeah. The logic of him getting there in time for like to see the final stages of the childbirth is, well,
Convenient.
It could happen.
well, if you think, okay, how long is the show? 2 hours.
But it's
We didn't
it's
even
the
make
morning.
it into the show. Yeah.
It's the
Oh,
next
okay.
morning.
Well, then,
Yeah.
Like, I guess
She
it
was
is,
in labor for
like
at
12 hours.
at least 12 hours, maybe more.
well,
Poor Emma. Her
No,
little
well,
bird body.
yeah, her
Yeah.
little bird body.
I mean, like,
Yeah. Well,
that happens quite often, actually. It's
at
unfortunate.
least 12.
Yeah.
But like that can
Yeah.
also lead to complications and health risks and
Yeah. Welcome to being pregnant and having to go
Yeah.
into labor and
living in the United
that.
States, the developed country with the highest maternal mortality rate.
don't want to talk about it.
Triggered.
If you have that baby, the government will not help you find money for formula because they don't believe Pete Buttigieg, a Democrat, said that
Yeah.
babies dying is the price of a free market.
Yes.
I don't understand.
Forcing you to
It's-
have the babies, but they don't want you to feed the baby.
You're only a person during the 10 months that you're being gestated.
After that, starve on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that makes us like a villain
Scratch.
from the Bible.
From the Old Testament of the Bible. And the New Testament. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah. I was just thinking about the other day how one time the priest commissioned me to write a play and I was like, sure. But like, I was like, the Bible never said the Holy Family wasn't best friends with the priestess of Aphrodite who lived with them. Sure. Who has a love story with the dove seller who works at the temple.
You were writing a play for the Catholic priest
Yeah.
in which it included Greek mythology.
Well, she was just a priestess. It wasn't like, oh, this is real. She was just, it was the Roman Empire. They were around.
Yeah.
And she
right.
had a baby and her baby
I
was
was
killed.
thinking that
yeah.
it was like more contemporary era, not like historical.
There was
Got
a
it.
contemporary plot going on.
Of course there was.
Where
Yeah,
St. Bridget of Sweden was a nurse in Afghanistan, but also this woman's friend because this woman's son was fighting in Afghanistan and they were like paralleled with the Seven Sorrows of
You
Mary.
worked in 9/11 stuff? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
That man.
That's
was
impressive.
The play never saw the light of day because we didn't get enough people to audition because they wanted me
I'll audition.
they wanted
I want to be
me-
the priestess. I'll do a one-woman show of it.
Yeah, we'll do a table reading of your play.
I now need this in my life.
I'll rewrite it. I'll
You're like, it's all up here. I got
Spice it up. We'll put it out. We'll record a reading and put it on Gleeboot. So anyways, where were we? Okay, so they're happy. Oh yeah, Will has a baby named Daniel Finn.
Called it. I was partially right.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't hate it. I thought I would hate it more that he named his kid after his dead student.
I hate it.
But it was okay.
Because
technically Finn was his best man, so
and his only friend.
Yeah.
That he coerced into being into his club with.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he's gonna name his baby after Henri, the guy with no thumbs.
Daniel Henri. It sounds much better though. Or Ken Tanaka.
What? Where a moment where naming your baby after the dead former male lead, that would feel really good and maybe a series finale.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
This is where I want to talk about. Rachel says a line too, where she's like, a group of friends got together and made a dream come true today, and you'll never understand that. Is that not the journey of the show Glee?
Correct.
So we have Will. He's, struggling artistically. He wants a family, and Terry's going to fake a baby. That's his season 1. That's where he's starting out in the pilot. He wants a child. He wants a family. We're starting out with Rachel. She wants to be loved and accepted. She has no friends. She wants friends. She also wants to be a star. So here we are, opening night. Will is with his crush from the pilot. They have their first child together. Rachel has loved and lost. She has premiered on Broadway, a wiser, I guess, woman than she was when we met her. She's achieved her dream, and she did that with the help of friends. She has all these friends that are here for her and supporting her for her premiere. And she tells off the bully that was, harassing her in high school. And the whole ethos of the show isn't like, you suck because you're not successful. It's you suck because you won't understand what it's like to have this kind of friendship and support. And that's sad. Like, you're not living, this kind of goes back to It's a Wonderful Life, like that kind of story, like the Mr. Potter and George Bailey, like that kind of like, that's why, like, that, like, what brings meaning to life, Cinderella 1, Not a Twist in Time, kind of has that vibe too, between Cinderella and the stepmother. Like, who's having that fulfilling life? Is it because of their external success, or is it because of, the relationships that they're capable or not capable of building?
About the friends we made along the way.
It's a cliche, but things become cliches because they work.
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz, like the Bible, maybe. I didn't think too much about. Jesus was like, it's not about saving mankind's sins. It's about my 12 adult friends I made along the way, and Mary Magdalene. And then Dan Brown was like, ooh.
They have sexual tension. I can see it. Fan fiction.
I wrote it too. Apparently.
Wait, is there actual Bible fan fiction?
Yes.
I need to know this. There is?
I read a slight Bible Frozen crossover fanfic once, because I was trying to find Frozen Hamilton crossover fanfic, because me and my sister were like, that's gotta exist, that's gotta be funny. But we found Bible Frozen crossover, where the 12 apostles sang a cover of Let It Go about the Holy Spirit, ending in them doing a quote sassy Holy Spirit pose.
Wait. What was the Holy Spirit letting go?
I think maybe the fear
Fear of what?
the Romans and the Pharisees.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyways, so like the friends we made along the way, the building of the relationship, it's a meaningful thing. That's kind of what Glee is about. You could even argue shows like Parks and Rec and The Office, it's a common thing for comedies and ensemble shows to go for,
Yeah.
So
I'm
really,
more invested in the fan fiction that I've never read than in.
I mean,
this
all I'm
episode
thinking
of
about
Glee.
is like which of the apostles are fucking each other. I mean, besides all of them, but like who are like the key pairs? Who are the ships that I need to set sail on?
Judas and Peter. That could be a rift.
Jeter.
A Jeter.
I'm a Jeter stan, not Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
Actually, I think he and I share a birthday. Is that true?
So like, yeah, like it's if you had taken out
we share a birthday.
The Sue love story and just maybe been like, we have a Mercedes scene, you know, maybe about her album and like, hey, we heard your track, it's great. Maybe Quinn shows up for the premiere and is just kind of chilling. And then you can have Brittany there too. So you can have Santana and Brittany, or Brittany calls Santana. It's like, how was the show? Can't wait to see you again. And you have something with Kurt and Blaine being like, you know, I'm so happy we're engaged. Kurt's like, I can't believe I came this, you know, we've come this far and we're so happy. And like, we're always going to be there for each other. And we love each other just the way we are, you know, like just a few moments like that. And this could have been
Artie
a series
is
finale.
not invited.
Artie's not fucking there.
What would you do with Sue
punk.
instead of the love story?
Sue's there. She walks out. I don't think she needs to do more.
But we still need the Rachel telling her off.
Yeah, maybe Sue just sleeps with a random man in her apartment.
That's even worse.
She still was sleeping there. So, I mean, the odds of them coming home to her
Or
she could have been there.
Yeah, does she have to sleep with anyone? Can she
Right,
just
she
like
could've
be in the
robe,
apartment?
big mask and doing like a face mask, or like just like being way too comfortable in the apartment.
She could have thrown we hate Rachel Berry and Funny Girl party at Rachel's apartment with a bunch of like mean theater kids and Cassandra July.
Cassandra July. I was gonna say, like, what if she like actually stays for the show, but like walks out and is like talking shit about the performance to people, and then she's like stands up to her, like
Rachel finds out that all of these really ugly reviews are actually being written by Sue in the apartment.
Or all the tweets, all the tweet accounts, the trolls were all
she's
her.
trolling Rachel from Rachel's apartment.
Right, like that's all it needed to be.
Yeah, because Sue is jealous of Rachel, you know, of Rachel having the success that she always claimed she was successful, she was a winner, but she's not happy, you know, like there's a way that just some slight tweaking, and this could have been the finale because these characters have gotten everything they've wanted.
Right.
What else is there? As they say in this one princess movie, when she asks him, what do you love me for other than my beauty? And he says, what else is there? Yeah.
Boom.
But like really though, like what else are we, why are there, I think I counted, there's 13 episodes of season 6, 3 more episodes, 16 episodes of Glee left. What is there to do in these 16 episodes? I mean, I know what happens, but like what really, like these characters, what more time do we need to spend with these characters?
Obviously 16 more episodes. Like that's obvious.
Even the show is like, yes, no, we're done. And then it's like, no, we're not. They're like, okay, I guess we'll write some more episodes.
Yeah, like who can we focus on now?
Like no one's watching, like Glee is way no longer popular anymore. Like this is season 5. Like season 4, people were still watching kind of. No one was watching season 5. I thought it was off the air at the time. Like
yeah, by the time you get to the end of season 5 into season 6, I think like I took a really long gap before I decided to actually watch it.
Yeah, like it
because I was watching it like as it was coming out.
But like, yeah, it was not popular anymore. It was nowhere near the like cultural phenomenon it was. It's no longer near like the relevant thing it was. Like Glee was on The Simpsons. Glee was in Community. Glee was everywhere. Glee was on The Office. You know, like, but now like, who was talking about Glee?
Right. It's not a cultural reference. It's
like, yeah, it's just. Like, why didn't they end it here? I know it's because they were renewed for 6 seasons. They're like, God damn it, we're going to do 6 seasons. But like,
yeah, I think I agree with you that it could have been an actual graceful exit.
Yeah. Like, and if they wanted to do a full 20 episode season 5, just build it up to this.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you.
You could have even done a quick flash forward. Like done their like high school reunion or something.
I mean, who was pushing for this, really?
Yeah, it's not like Ryan Murphy really cared about Glee anymore at this point.
No, he was in season 3 of American Horror Story at this point?
What is this, like studio execs or something?
Well, they like agreed to 6 seasons, right?
Yeah.
So they had to churn it out.
But like, I'm pretty sure.
But I guess they could have canceled, but I guess they would have like less that much money.
And I think at this point, it was like, well, it's already in the budget, like we'll just do it.
They're going for those iTunes singles money.
But like by the time, like I remember when season 6 was coming out, and like some of the songs weren't even on iTunes, or not iTunes, Spotify. Like, I think they eventually went on, but they were not on. Like, I was like getting ads on YouTube for like, look, Glee, and I was like, Glee's still on.
Still a thing. And
it was on Friday nights for 13 episodes. Death slot. Like, like what kind of zombie Half-Life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if all you wanted to do was make money, wouldn't it be a better, I don't know. I mean, like, it already has an audience.
I guess, but it had big talent. It had a big cast. It had a lot of sets. Music is not easy to rent.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, could you put something else there that would be cheaper?
Yeah, they could have.
Cheaper to make and maybe like had a better viewing.
Okay. Is there anything else that happens in this episode? I don't even remember what the last shot is. I think it's them on the sidewalk. I think that's where it ends.
With Shu's phone call, right?
Yeah, and then they're all like,
I think so. Yay, yeah.
Yeah.
Boy.
To carry on the Schuster line. This is Tina time. Tina's back, baby.
Yeah.
For now.
With a vengeance.
I think I missed a couple lines, but I counted 17.
I got about that, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That is back with a vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so much talking. Jenna Ushquist must have been tired.
I also did not count like the group lines. So if you want to count those, there's definitely a few more. But I was counting solo Tina lines.
Right. The ones that really count.
Yeah.
Gosh, she almost had like a whole monologue talking about the reviews.
Yes.
You know, it would have been great. Rachel chokes, Tina goes on, performs it. And then I was like, remember when you wouldn't even let me be Rizzo in the Grease production? You made Santana do it.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Look at me now, bitches. And then she sings, take a look at me now. I think they're already saying that. Okay. So MVPs and LVPs. Emily, who's your LVP this week?
What is the lowest, the least? Sue Sylvester.
I mean, yeah.
I don't even think there would be anyone who did these children more dirty than an education professional who broke into their home, forced squatter rights, had sex in that home, like tried to ruin someone's play, and then was like, you sucked anyway.
I second that, but I'm also gonna go with the producer for just really laying it out there, putting all the pressure on Rachel. Like, Jesus, thank you for that.
Super true.
I'm also going with the producer or director. I don't know.
He's
He was
the
the bad
producer.
guy. The producer.
Carlisle Cullen is the director.
Wait,
Nowhere
where
to be seen. Found.
We already know that. We already asked that question.
He's in Washington fighting the werewolves or defending with the werewolves. I don't know at what point.
Yeah.
I just imagined
that
him in
creepy
Washington,
baby.
D.C., not Washington State. And then all of these different fandoms clashed together in Washington, D.C. It was great.
Yep, on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial.
Yeah, I'm going with the producer as well. Because even though Sue is like a terrible person, I'm used to her being a terrible person, so I have to choose the person I'm unused to being terrible.
Someone fresh.
Yeah, because remember that guy gave her a town car once. I was like, oh, that guy's pretty cool. Now he's just like, hey, you could ruin everyone's life.
Especially your own.
Especially your own, because you will never work again.
Yeah.
I'm going with Sue. She tried to shit on somebody's dream. She tried to ruin it. She made it all about herself. She's actively caning people. She's...
Well, we don't know if she's doing the caning, but she is signing off on it.
Yeah.
And she probably never paid him
Did
back.
we also mention that she uses Becky as a food tester?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, she's
Forgot
just...
about that line.
That's horrible.
Not...
Oh, yeah,
that's child abuse.
Yep. Because several people have tried to poison Sue, apparently, so now she has a food taster, and it's Becky.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sue, menace to society, menace to me.
Remember when that used to be Kitty?
They used to be Kitty. Yeah. See, that's the thing. Sue has a culture where these students take on their really toxic traits. Like she could have been like, hey, you're the captain. Get it together, Kitty. Meanwhile, Kitty is just spouting transphobic and racist hate speech. You know, like I'm giving Sue and her seeing it a C-.
Oh, and that's how Cullen sees it.
That's still a passing grade, though, isn't it?
Yeah, technically.
Yeah, but you might not get into college with that. You're not getting into Oakland. You don't get to see me sing and dance to the fight song.
Yeah.
Emily, who's your favorite character? Your MVP?
Ooh, that was quite the grimace.
I know. It's not that like no one was bad, but no one was like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't think in this episode I was ever seeing like the peak of somebody's. Like I think Rachel, maybe just because this is the culmination of the whole like multiple season arc, that you're getting what you want and it is like a nice thing. So maybe just for like actual optimism, you know, like saccharine sort of, it's nice. So yeah, I guess Rachel. Yeah, go get it, girl.
Yeah, I'll second Rachel because she got to stand up to Sue, which is probably like really emotionally cathartic. Yeah.
Right. She filled Barbara.
Also, she had to wear that wig.
That wig was.
Also, that was like one of my biggest complaints about Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So many wigs, so many bad wigs. Ugh.
Bad wigs. If you want to see a good movie about multiverses, watch Everything Everywhere.
I want to see that.
I've heard this so many times that movie is so much better than Doctor Strange.
Yeah, because I watched those back to back, and then like not that Doctor Strange was that bad, but then like watching that, and it just kind of masterful. You're like, oh well, that wasn't that. Just very, I mean, because this is a side story, but that movie, like, definitely, like, you laugh, you cry, it's poignant, it's got a world where people have hot dogs for fingers.
It's got everything.
Yeah. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, the only thing I felt during Doctor Strange was anger. but it kept me up for my 11:30 showing that I was watching.
You did take a nap though, so I don't know if that's
I found Doctor Strange to be very watchable. On a scale of like 1 to 5, I would watch it again, but like it wouldn't be like, yeah, I love this. It'd be like very watchable. I can sit here and think about where Tina Cohen Chang would fit into this universe.
Alyssa?
Most valuable player, eh?
Canada?
I think I'm gonna go with I don't know. I want to say so much indecision here. I'm gonna go with Santana because she showed up to support her friend. I didn't really expect her in this capacity to be supporting Rachel for this opening night. And she was the one who managed to get Rachel off her ass, even though I don't necessarily like the fact that she wasn't as bitchy about it as I feel like she could have been. And that would have been a more entertaining scene for me personally. But yeah, it's still an achievement getting Rachel out of her own well of misery that she created for herself.
Mm.
You know, shout out to Santana. Shout out to Sam and Blaine for barely contributing anything to this episode. Shout out.
Paid for that paper.
And Blaine found the club. Shout out to Tina for being a comedy legend. But really, this is Rachel's episode. This is the end of her arc. You know, she carries it, and I guess I cared enough about her dream coming true. I feel like I care about the concept of dreams more than I care about Rachel.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, a dream is coming true. And you're like, oh, it's Rachel.
But hey, it's still a dream.
It's a dream.
Any dream will
A dream
do.
is a dream.
As they say.
A dream is
Dreams are still dreams.
dreams are still dreams.
So yeah. Where is it? What's the next? The songs. The music. We have NYC, Pumpin' Blood, I'm the Greatest Star, and that is the other song, My Man. Is that what it's called?
There's also Love Fool.
Oh, Love Fool. Oh, how could I forget? It's called Who Are You Now?
Yeah.
I've been calling it My Man this whole
Wait, so
time.
there's only 5 songs?
Yeah.
Also, this episode was directed by Eric Stoltz, who would have been Marty McFly had he not apparently been in a nuisance on set. Also directed a lot of episodes of Glee previously where we were looking up girls' skirts, like the cheerleaders. So just thought I'd add that in there.
Now we're just getting mesh tank tops.
Well, you know.
Gross.
The future liberals want.
Gross.
Emily, what was your least favorite song?
Yeah, there were only 5. NYC probably because I didn't need it. I didn't need any of it.
Yeah. Don't like those cardboard cutouts. Very weird. Also, I don't like Sue and Shu.
Yeah, I didn't need it. I didn't need the duo. I didn't know. I didn't want.
Yeah, we hadn't had them in a few episodes. So I was like, why are they getting a number suddenly?
Who are these people?
Yeah, I forgot them. Sorry to this man.
Yeah.
You know, we have a new, someone showed Elizabeth Olsen a picture of John Krasinski and was like, do you think this is the smartest man alive? And she's like, I would never say an actor is the smartest man alive. And they're like, well, you know him. And she's like, and I don't know him. They're like, well, you were in a movie with him. And she's like, I've never met this man. I've met his wife. So it's like, so she knew who he was, but she was like, I've never met this man. And they've had scenes together.
That's so funny. Well, I wonder if they didn't actually have scenes together, if they just shot it kind of how they did Endgame,
I
where
could
it's just
see
like
that.
a single person on set doing their things to a tennis ball.
Ends on the movie. I've had
So
some shots
honestly-
like that where you have to like cut in two different people on two different sets.
Yeah, I mean that's how Endgame was basically shot. So like I wouldn't surprise me if that's how they're doing it from now on, especially because of COVID.
Literally did not meet him.
Yeah, I love that she's like, I've met his wife though. Love Emily Blunt. So fun. What a great personality.
Right.
Mary Poppins.
Yeah, Mary Poppins. The
Still
Emily
haven't
that
seen it.
should have been in Paris.
Yes.
Uh,
So are you also saying NYC?
Yeah.
Alyssa?
I'm also gonna go with NYC because although it did kind of sort of keep me entertained because I was desperately trying to figure out what it was from and why I knew it. It's so frustrating to like to see people go to New York for the upteenth time for the first time. It's just like, we've done this before.
Big deal. Such a big deal.
Yeah. NYC. Shout out to I'm the Greatest Star because Lea Michelle's not funny, but yeah. Emily, what was your favorite song?
Man, I mean, and there were I think I liked the first song just because I like the song, but probably the last song, the one that she sang, if Sue wasn't in it, I probably would have been all in on that one. I mean,
Who
Yeah.
are you now?
Where,
nice,
yeah.
yeah. Where are you now? Yeah, just a little bit of the tearjerker.
I'm gonna go with Love Fool.
Yeah.
Good song. Love it.
She's a good
It's a
jam.
bop.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Who Are You Now? Because but with the caveat that Sue's little moments are taken out.
Yeah,
I think it was really emotional except for that.
Yeah, did Jane Lynch just have in her contract? She's like, I need you one more number.
Yeah, maybe.
I liked that Without Sue, that song. I do love Love Fool. That is kind of a very good song for a weird dream sequence, like oddly good. But I'm going with Pumpin' Blood. It was a celebration. The friends came together.
Yeah, there's some light choreo.
Yeah, Glee does a general feel-good pop song real well.
I liked Rachel's dress in that song.
Yeah, they were all dressed really nice. Yeah, so I guess that brings us to what should be the end of the podcast, but it's just the end of opening night, the episode.
To the end of the podcast. Yeah. Well,
Tune in next week for Prince of Egypt.
Yeah.
Well, tune in for the ballot episode and then Prince of Egypt for the
True.
rest of our lives.
But we're
Yes.
still calling it Gleeboot.
Yes. And we're gonna assign all of the Glee characters a character in the Prince of Egypt. Let's see. I think Tina should be Moses. Hot take, I know.
Yeah.
Emily, do you have any social medias you'd like to plug?
You can always find me on Instagram at the Irish Chaldean. I'm not very social.
You know, I want to know, have you ever gotten a Gleeboot follower?
No, nobody's ever been like, hey, that lady who's been on 3 times. Really like her take.
I want more of her content.
Yeah, they're like, what's she about?
Gleebooties
Just
follow Emily.
Yeah. They're like, what's she do? Oh no, she's just a married lady in her late 20s who works at a Midwestern banquet center. Oh.
That's what I needed.
Yeah.
Amazing. You can follow Gleeboot on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. We are at GleebootPod. You can also find us on Tumblr, gleebootpod.tumblr.com.
You can follow me on Instagram at Cullen After.
You can follow me on Instagram at a.m.swearingen. And I know I always promise more art. And this time I actually did post new art. So,
Woo!
yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
And when this... Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say that, it can be unfulfilling when I always promise new art and never, ever put any out. But I did.
So when this episode is released, we will be posting the season 5 ballot.
Yes.
Vote.
It's that time of the Glee season again.
Yay.
Vote on this season. I'm rooting for Puppet Master to win Best Episode.
You know what?
About the gas leak?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You know what? I'm surprised that's the thing that you remember about it, because I could not for the life of you tell me how puppets got involved. Honestly. It is like one of the only ones I remember. That and the Beatles ones are the only ones that stand out.
Katie or Gaga.
That was season 5.
Yeah.
See? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I feel like when you come in sporadically, like I know because I've seen the show, but I like can't place because was Kitty making the costume smaller?
That was season 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That
like,
gave Marley an eating disorder.
yeah.
One of the many issues that she has developed because of the Glee Club. I really hope she's doing well.
Right. Put her in yearbook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something, some yearbooks have some pretty serious drama, but probably a lot less drama, fewer eating disorders developed, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And learn some really practical skills, Photoshop.
Yeah, photo editing,
Yeah.
layouts.
Yeah. Yeah. So, because Emily's been on for, I think, season 2 Valentine's Day.
Yep.
Season 2 Valentine's Day. Season 3 Michael Jackson.
Yep, the Michael Jackson one.
Highlight of the series. That is what, those are some really good episodes.
That was actually, clutch.
The calendar episode.
Yep, the calendar
Naked.
one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The one time Quinn used her New York train ticket.
Yeah, and Rachel was gonna pose nude in that movie.
In the movie.
Yeah, in the student film.
They were calling out direction as they filmed. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you invite me back for the last season, I'd love it. But if not, I really need to know how you guys feel.
I think I know which episode I want you on for the last season.
Okay, deal.
Yeah. All right. Tune in next week for what, now that Rachel has completed her story arc, I think they're about to assassinate her character, which is hard to do for someone like Rachel, who's
Who
already
has
sent
assassinated
someone
her
to
own
a crack
character
house.
multiple times since season 1.
So we're having a guest named Rachel.
Yay. How fun.
Rachel Brown.
Really?
Yeah.
That's dope. I like Rachel Brown.
Yeah. Sometimes Gleeboot is watch Cullen force all his college friends to be on his Glee podcast.
I
mean, that is the subtitle of our podcast, is it not?
Yeah. We'd do anything for Cullen.
Aw.
All right. Ooh, and that's how we feel about Glee. Bye.
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 Gleeboot.